This is my recap and reaction to Little People, Big World, Season 25, Episode 7. This one is called Old Matt Roloff's Gonna Die, which is a pretty dramatic title. In this episode, Matt has major esophagus problems, Chris makes a weird joke, and Tori and Zach make an attempt to camp with the kids in their backyard. The episode starts with yet another medical emergency situation unfolding. Last time it was Zach, this time it's Matt, and it has to do with Matt Roloff's esophagus. The story goes that Matt's esophagus had been acting up and it felt like it was closed off when he was eating, which I'm sure is the most uncomfortable thing ever. And it was creating phlegm because we really wanted to know that and whatnot. So his doctor wanted to go in with a scope and kind of stretch it to make it less closed up. And then there was a mishap. Matt does not remember any of this, but apparently Caryn was casually getting a coffee and they blew up her phone and called her up and said they were worried that they pierced his esophagus, which is a major problem. This whole thing freaked Caryn out. She says that she was now worried and wants to be prepared to be, I guess, his decision maker legally if he has medical issues and things happen, because he's a little person and things can go wrong and quickly. I don't know if this is Caryn's play to now become his power of attorney or whatnot, but this episode addresses Amy and Caryn's fears about getting older, medical issues popping up, and just being older in general, which is a very relatable feeling. And oh, cows' butts, we must be in Battleground, Tori and Zach's place. I think Zach and Tori are avoiding filming in Oregon with their family at all costs at this point. This is yet another episode where they're not filming with Amy or Matt, so it makes things complicated. Zach goes on about how Jackson graduated kindergarten and he's way cooler than he was at his age. And Lila did in fact go on the stage at her recital. Lila, I feel, still may have issues with language because I just highly suspect it. Just the way she speaks, she's not speaking in sentences quite yet. They are planning to camp outside in their yard and Tori is just not feeling it. Zach's all about it though. He loves camping. It was an important part of his childhood, so it's important to him that his family camps. And he's getting cots and stuff. It's not like they're sleeping on the ground or anything. Amy and Chris are still gardening in their backyard again in this episode. Chris says that Matt seemed okay after his whole debacle with the esophagus. He went to visit him. And Amy says that she would have to hire someone to take care of Chris if he was sick. She's like, I can't take care of you. I can't carry you and things like that. I mean, yeah, she probably would hire somebody. Amy reveals that she thinks about that sometimes, like what would happen if she would need surgery or if she had a complication with her achondroplasia, which is her type of dwarfism. She says that it's common for achons to have stenosis in their spine, and she hopes that she's never too sick that Chris has to do everything. She says that she already has like this weird feeling like at the base of her neck. At one point she says, it's like your favorite car, you want it to stay lubricated and good to go. And Chris says, am I your favorite car, babe? Are you going to make sure I'm lubricated and moving? She says, oh yeah, babe. And then has this naughty laugh and kind of sticks out her tongue like we all know what they're talking about here. And it's cringy. Segue to Zach buying supplies and making things nice in the tent specifically for Lila, who as usual, everyone suspects she's gonna hate it. Tori recalls why she hates camping so much because one time she was with Zach and they cooked canned beans without removing the lid and it exploded. It cut her leg, like the lid cut her leg, and then she had beans all over herself. So point taken, Tori. I totally get it. If that happened to me, I would never go camping again. Tori and Zach talk again about how Lila hates everything about the outdoors and about how the doctor said that she will likely need surgery on her left leg, but they just don't know when exactly. But that her legs just aren't as bad as Jackson. Zach also talks about how he had to tell Jackson recently that he's a dwarf, and Zach thought that he was calling him a name because he wanted his regular height friend, Beckett, to play on the Dwarf Association soccer tournament with him. And then, Zach had to be like, sorry, like he can't because he's not a dwarf. And it led to a whole thing. And in the next scene, Amy and Caryn are going to discuss the DAAA fundraiser alone, together, no Chris and Matt. So Amy is taking one for the team. Obviously, this is like a little awkward. Amy says that what happened between her and Matt and Caryn will impact her until the day she dies, but she can bear to do this with Caryn for a cause. So they sit down, and Amy even brought Caryn chocolate croissants and fruit, for God's sakes, and they kind of laugh about how Matt can't make decisions. True. Amy also vents about how Matt's cried wolf about injuries and things in the past, like one time he'd stubbed his toe and he would think he's losing his leg. I'm thinking this is probably because Matt was in the hospital so much growing up and things did go wrong, so he just thinks things are going wrong. I could see that. Amy then somewhat forces Caryn to have a second croissant. I mean, Caryn's like, no, it's okay. And Amy just insists. She's like, no, you have this one. I ate a second one. Caryn clearly does not want the croissant and forces herself to eat it piece by piece just to keep the peace, And finally, it's camping time. And on the way to the tent, Lila falls flat on her face, doesn't even make it like 5 steps out of the house. She's really upset at this point and she just will not stop, to the point where Tori brings her in to reset her energy. But then ultimately Lila comes back, they sleep a little bit, and they did some camping, but Tori went inside in the middle of the night with Josiah. Still, I mean, they did it. It was a family thing, it was cute, and it looked like a lot of effort just to sleep outside. But it is what it is, right? I hope you guys enjoyed this recap and reaction of Little People, Big World, Season 25, Episode 7, called Old Matt Roloff's Gonna Die? Again, very dramatic title for the episode. By the way, they didn't pierce his esophagus. I don't know if I made that clear earlier, but they did a test and apparently they didn't. So hopefully everyone feels better from their medical stuff in the Roloff household. And I'll be back with more recaps and updates. Bye, guys!